GDF fights rumors of an invasion while the GPF calls out an identity theft scam. Fire guts popular Guyanese business. And fake news is taking over. What should the state do about it? I am Noriko Pulford, and this is Uncut News. Do you see news happening? Send us a tip on WhatsApp at 592-659-6151. The Russian invasion of Ukraine has ushered in a wave of fake news related to the conflict all around the world, and including here. First are reports of social media commentator Kid Daki Amsterdam trying to single-handedly trigger a similar conflict over here by falsely claiming that the GDF was on high alert after Venezuela's military supposedly blew up 2 excavators in Region 7 last week, then offered no further evidence or context for the claims. In fact, the GDF released a statement hours later refuting the report, and this clueless dolt reposted it, not even recognizing that it was speaking about him. While the GDF was dismissing claims of a Venezuelan invasion, the GPF had to come out and deny another piece of fake news on social media, which claims that police officers can sign up to go to Ukraine to assist in a 90-day cleanup effort where they will be paid $100 a day. Interested officers were asked to submit copies of their passport to the person who was sending out the message. Several officers have since told the media that the offer is a lie and is possibly an identity fraud scam. Koizuko CEO Sasnoin Singh is currently doing damage control in the wake of reports that the government is leasing the Enmore packaging plant to an oil and gas equipment fabrication company. According to Singh, the government intends to build 2 more packaging plants, one at Albion and another at Blairmont, all in hopes of increasing Koizuko's value-added products. As for the workers at the Enmore plant, Garu says they were able to make the new company agree to hire the 30-some-odd sugar workers at the plant. Conversion from a sugar packaging plant to a petro equipment warehouse is set to begin soon. In other news about your taxpayer money, the Ministry of Legal Affairs says it was forced to write off $3 million in outstanding debt owed by tenants living on state property. The Public Accounts Committee learned today that 14 tenants at the First Federation Life building racked up the debt over a several-year period, with one public officer owing rent from as far back as 2010. The ministry has written off the debt as they have already spent a considerable sum to try to recover the money thus far. While the people need to pay their bills, honestly, I'm amazed the government isn't ashamed of the state of the building. I mean, come on, I thought it was abandoned. No wonder people expected to live for free. Now it's time to tell you about Best Buy's Car of the Day. Currently on sale is this Audi Q3. It comes with Bluetooth, mag rims, new tires, TV, CD, stereo, fog lamps, electronic parking brake, park camera, and much, much more. Buy cars for $5.6 million, or pay down as low as $1,120,000 down, with around $108,000 monthly for 5 years, and it's yours. Call or WhatsApp 662-0844 for more info, or visit the showrooms at Lot 171 Peter Street, Queenstown, or Lot 2 Lamont Street, and tell them we can send you for this sweet, sweet deal. Early Sunday morning, a fire completely gutted a Nils Liquor and Variety Store, a popular shop in Guyanese Region 3. According to the fire service, the blaze started around 2 a.m. and gutted the shop, as well as damaged the neighbor's shop. The fire is believed to be electrical in nature. While no one was hurt, 54-year-old shop owner Anil Rambaran was rushed to the hospital after the stress of losing his home and his business sent his pressure soaring out the roof. Yesterday afternoon, 19-year-old internet technician Anthony Moore was electrocuted during a job in Amelia's Ward, Linden. Monroe and his colleague Rylon Sandy were reportedly installing a metal pole in the ground when Sandy claims the pole contacted a set of wires nearby, shocking them both in the process. However, Sandy was able to walk away relatively unscathed, while his partner was declared dead on arrival at the hospital. The two were employees of Relink Wireless Internet Service. But if you ask me, they need to investigate the company's hiring and training policies, because this feels like a senseless death that could have and should have been avoided. Back to more news about Garu. Gawu says it was able to force the management of one foreign-owned oil and gas company to provide its workshop workers with the proper safety gear they need to do their job. According to Gawu, the unnamed company used to require workers to provide their own steel-toed boots, and if they don't have them, the company will provide them and take it from their salaries. Both agreements were completely contrary to Guyana's labor laws, which say that the employer must provide said equipment. Needless to say, the company was not pleased with the results. Take a look at this beauty being constructed in a gated community called Richmondville in Guyana. It features 4 bedrooms, 1 pool with 7,000 square feet of living space, along with modern amenities. Contact Sheriff Construction on 592-618-5702. This afternoon, 18-year-old Claudius James was charged with stabbing a 15-year-old child last week at the Starbuck Market. The 15-year-old had reportedly had a previous grievance with James's brother, but on the 22nd of February, James and the child got into a fight, stabbing him in the process. The boy is currently hospitalized, while James is currently on remand for attempted murder. James will be back in court March the 21st. Now for today's Runner Report. Today, the nation recorded 18 new cases. There are now 1,220 persons dead, 8 in the ICU, 441 in home isolation. And the total number of confirmed cases around the nation now stands at 62,921. So please, people, wash your hands frequently. Avoid touching your nose and mouth and mask up before you leave the house. When you do leave home, try to avoid enclosed spaces and large crowds. And remember to give 6 feet of space between you and others. You can multiply your cash by selling Digicel Top-Up. This is a legit way you can earn some extra money to supplement your business or your current hustle. Become a top-up vendor quick and easy through Cellular Plus. Call them on telephone number 685-3109 for more info. Now for our stupid news of the day. You know what I think is stupid? Fake news. It serves no one any good. It's not entertaining, and it's literally destroying democracies around the world. Some nations are now spending lots of money to combat the spread, and yet people keep finding new and concerning ways to mislead the public. In Guyana, no such fight against fake news exists, which is why a new lie and a new scam pops up on Guyanese social media every month. But oddly enough, while people are out here sharing fake political news that honestly borders on treasonous. I mean, come on, an attack from Venezuela. I mean, you're trying to solve problems. Anyway, while they're sharing information that borders on treasonous, the persons with power in this nation are silencing legitimate criticisms. Instead of making the average citizen safe, the cybercrime law is being abused by rich and or politically connected individuals to spite each other and launch personal vendettas with state security resources against people who honestly can't really even put up such a fight. The government needs to quit playing around and repeal the cybercrime bill like they said they would. Then they need to rewrite the law to target people who spread harmful fake news instead. Propagandists and other bad actors are causing confusion and seek to divide people around the world. And Guyana is not exempt. Unfortunately, many Guyanese were never taught the technical and news analyzing skills to distinguish real from fake news and propaganda. So, to combat this new and growing threat, I believe that our government needs to make digital information literacy, yes, that is what I would call the class, digital information literacy, a part of our school's curriculum. If you haven't noticed by now, the next battlefield isn't for land in some nation like Ukraine. It's actually a battle for your mind. If we want Guyana to survive as a modern functioning democracy in the 21st century, it is imperative to have Guyanese be tech literate and thinking logically, because the alternative is pretty stupid. Now for our Uncut News Views Poll Question of the Day. Every day we pose a question about current events in Guyana, the region, the diaspora, and how you feel it relates to us. Friday's question was, what should the Ministry of Education do to help the children get back into school? Brooklyn Roadshow says, free transportation for students who have to travel, 2 square meals for students, breakfast and lunch, and a school voucher for parents who can't afford uniform and school equipment. I love that idea. Barefoot Wanderer said, if parents don't see a future for the young generation to grow into a proper job and earn a healthy living, how can they believe in an education system? Most of those parents are probably struggling to put food on the table because overworking at low-income jobs and they need the extra hand to go to work, or don't put value into education because it did nothing for them. Indeed, that's very true. Janice Archibald says, the education ministry should restore the bus service. Lazena Fortinora says they should give monthly funds to help the families. And finally, Tarifa Wolford says provide transportation for the kids, free meals, and even set up a free stationery room so kids could access the most simple things they need in school. I also love that idea too. Now for tonight's question. Would you support a digital literacy program in our schools? And I'd also like to hear from you, so what other measures should the government do to try to fight fake news? Think about that question and tell us in the comments below. If your spot is good enough, we just might feature it in our next episode. Anyway, that's all the time we have for tonight, and check us out tomorrow for another. Until then, I'm Rico Bolford saying good night, folks. Hey, Uncut News viewers, thanks for watching. You can subscribe by clicking on this button over here, or click over there for more news. You can also drop a comment to let me know if you've made it to the end of the video. Goodbye for now.